With 733 having hit the player base like a delivery truck trying to isekai some hapless protagonist, there was just so many changes in one go that it was hard to wrap one's head around the entire thing. One of what I would classify as the most interesting yet odd decisions within the notes were that of adding the 4 new areas to the map. The map itself was made bigger, yes, but what really stood out as a weird concept is that of these 4 new areas all have a unique, albeit very minor benefit for anyone that find themselves present in it. By the by, if you like videos like these, please consider subscribing to my channel. I've been working hard and diligently at Dota content for a while now, and your support means the world. Now, why exactly was this put in the game? And does it add up to something larger? Let's try and look at it more specifically. In the bottom part of the map, which is the newfound jungle connected to the Radiance Tier 1, we find a new area known as the Well, which many people have already passionately named the Hot Tub. Any unit finding themselves within the area of the Hot Tub will be blessed with a lovely 1.5 plus mana region. This can actually be quite sweet in the early parts of the game, but on a grand scale, it does feel kind of odd that it's there. Polar opposite of the Hot Tub, we find the area known as the Mine, which is the Dire's new jungle connected to their safe lane. The Mine, instead of the Hot Tub's 1.5 mana region, offers 4 health region for any unit that finds themselves within this area. Out of these 2 connected jungles, the mana region is most definitely what would be most useful for the biggest amount of the Dota 2 cast. But, yet again, something just feels a little bit off about this temporary buff. It's not as if the buff itself is bad in either of these 2 places, but rather that they appear rather minuscule and almost a bit redundant. If we focus on the far left of the map, we can see an area known as the Statue, which is where the Radiant's new Ancient camp is located, together with their associated Wisdom Rune and Tormentor. The Statue provides a unique benefit to all units in the area by giving +2 armor while being present, making both creeps and heroes there slightly tankier. Yet again, it's such a strange and minor buff to get for being at this part of the map, since both heroes and creeps get the effect within. If a fight does break out at the Statue, every hero within said area gets the +2 armor effect, basically. Lastly, if we pan over to the right side of the map, the reverse of the Statue, we'll find the Graveyard, marked by a massive skeleton just kinda laying there. The Graveyard, much like you might have guessed, is where Dire's new Ancient camp is located, also bundled with their Wisdom Rune and subsequent Tormentor. Whereas the Statue on Radiant side gave +2 armor for everyone, the Graveyard has a more aggressive buff that gives a whole whopping 5+ damage to everyone in the area. At this point, I'm repeating myself as I say this, but these buffs are very interesting. They're not inherently bad because they are buffs, but they feel so strange and oddly implemented into the game. So what is the deal with them then? This is pure guesswork on my part, but given the nature of 733 as a patch in general, I think it's pretty obvious that Valve wasn't afraid of taking a massive step forward and generally changed a lot of things in the process. From universal heroes to barriers to BKB rework to expanding the map. 733 feels like a new playground for Valve testing so many new things into Dota and see what sticks. Which brings me back to the idea of the 4 areas. I obviously don't have any proof of this, because if I did work at Valve, I'd be under a non-disclosure agreement, but this very much feels to me like something they want to expand upon. My immediate thought was perhaps they wanted to introduce more outposts, or a way to take over these areas so the buff might be purely beneficial to one team, but not the other. Perhaps killing the Tormentor at the associated left or right side of the map being the catalyst. This could make for an interesting organic scenario where the map slowly changes based on how much territory one team has over the other. As the Radiant starts to lay down the hammer against the Dire more, the abandoned looking mine starts overflowing with vibrancy, and the Graveyard starts blossoming and coming to life. Vice versa, if the Dire are in charge, they'd slowly corrupt the area around the Statue, making it sad and decrepit, with the Hot Tub potentially becoming a vacation place you'd no longer want to visit. This is merely an idea, however, and not exactly something I expect. What I do very much expect and want to be the main takeaway from the video is one thing in particular. This is only the beginning. I don't believe for a second that this whole ordeal of randomly planning these minor buffs for being in these 4 areas to be a one-off thing. This entire thing strikes me very much like Valve is toying with the idea of making different parts of the map play differently, and earn boons for being present in them. I'd say that it's therefore incredibly likely that we'll see the system expand in one fashion or another, or at the very least, see some significant number changes as the new patches start coming out. It's all very much guesswork for anyone at this point, but I am personally excited to see what Valve has in store regarding this otherwise rather odd addition to the meta ever since 733. As it stands, it doesn't really harm anyone and just comes off as such a minor change. But that's all the more reason that it's likely to be something they might just expand upon in the future. Thanks for watching the video. These 4 new areas mark a completely new beginning for Dota 2, in that they significantly increase the surface area in which players can tread on the battlefield. What do you think about all of this? Did you forget these buffs were even here in the first place? And do you think there's more of a future for these places? Let me know in the comments. Again, I'd love for a thumbs up and a follow here on my YouTube channel. Making Dota content is not an easy task, and I'm trying to do my hardest at hopefully putting out stuff every week that people find interesting. We won't know what will change in the future, but for now, it's worth noting that these 4 areas are very likely to become increasingly more important in the time to come. Until next time.